3 simple tips to manage and eventually overcome your panic attacks for good. Chances are the first time you had your panic attack, you didn't even know it was a panic attack. You're not sure what's happening. All you know is that something is seriously wrong. I remember when I had my first panic attack, I remember the exact date. I remember exactly where I was. I was at work. It was right after lunch. I had a quick 15-minute break and I was just surfing on the internet. It was such an overwhelming experience. I thought I was gonna pass out. I felt really hot. I felt like I was getting very dizzy. My heart was gonna explode. I couldn't catch my breath. Something was seriously wrong. I wasn't sure if my blood sugar levels were good. I had all these theories and I thought something was seriously wrong or that I identified something that no one else has identified, and it was frightening. And so what I want to do in this video is give you 3 basic tips that's not going to just help you manage the panic attacks. We want to help you overcome the panic attacks. So let's get started. The first thing is that if you do happen to have a panic attack, don't leave. If you are in a grocery store and you're having a panic attack, you might feel like something is seriously wrong. You feel like you can't catch your breath. You might feel dizzy. You might be getting scary thoughts and you're thinking, oh no, this might be a panic attack. I can't be here. I need to leave. But the first thing to do is never run away. Stay exactly where you are. The way anxiety works is kind of unique. Whenever you react to a panic attack, your body and mind remember it. So what happens is that when you are experiencing panic, and I'll show you how to respond to panic attacks later, but whenever you're experiencing it, if you run away, your body and mind almost take a snapshot of that environment. And what it says is that, hey, Shaan ran away in this specific environment, so that means there was something dangerous. Next time Shaan is in a similar environment, we will cause him to have another panic attack so that he can escape and run away from whatever threat he's running away from. You might have noticed that if you're dealing with a panic attack, that it might have been in an isolated situation, but then you'll notice it begins to generalize. People that have a panic attack in their car, they stop driving. Well, eventually they can't go on a plane. They can't go in an elevator. Sometimes they get so bad that people can't even take a shower because they're feeling like they're in an enclosed space and they get these panic feelings. So what they end up doing is that they end up running away. And every time they run away, their panic attacks generalize. If you take a deep look at it, you're recognizing that what you're really running away from is just a feeling. It's not necessarily the environment that's causing this. Maybe the environment is triggering it, but what you're really running away from is a feeling. So the first thing to do is don't run away. Stay there. Show your nervous system, your mind, your body that there's nothing wrong, that everything is okay. Believe it or not, your nervous system will learn. It's always adapting, and it sees that if Shaan is having a panic attack in a grocery store and he just stays there and lets it pass, maybe we're firing unnecessarily. Panic attacks are very resource intensive. That means it takes a lot of energy to have a panic attack. If you've had a panic attack, you know how exhausting it feels after. And your body's main focus is always to conserve energy. And so when it's recognizing that it's causing this expulsion of energy and there's no result from it, that you're still alive, your nervous system begins to recalibrate. Now, it's important to understand the mechanics of a panic attack. If you feel like you're in a grocery store and you feel like you're gonna pass out and you're believing it, well, you're always gonna run away. You're never gonna sit through it. A panic attack is almost like nature's trickster. Think of it as a magic trick. Have you ever felt that you saw a magic trick and you were like, how did this happen? What's going on? And then when you understand the mechanics of the magic trick, you almost lose interest in it. It's very similar with a panic attack. When you don't know the mechanics of a panic attack, it can feel very scary, but when you understand the principles and the mechanics behind it, it loses some of its fear. Now, is it still uncomfortable? Yes, but it's a good starting point. So if you want to know the mechanics of how to overcome this, understanding the mechanics of panic attacks, how to begin the recovery journey, I'll put some links down below, resources to help you on your recovery journey. You can also go to www.byebyepanic.com, and that will also show you the blueprint and how to begin the recovery steps of overcoming panic attacks once and for all. The second tip is that instead of calling it a panic attack, call it for what it is. It's just an adrenaline surge. It's just your body releasing a bunch of adrenaline all at once. That's all it is fundamentally. See, your body's designed to protect you from danger. And anytime it senses danger, well, what it's going to do is that it's going to kickstart what we call the fight or flight response. basically helping you fight something, a predator or a threat, or run away from it. One of the ways it does that is that it creates a whole bunch of stress hormones and releases it in the body. You might feel like you're about to pass out. You might feel like your heart's about to explode. You might feel like you're going to go crazy, or you're something seriously wrong, or that you're going to lose control. But fundamentally, all that is happening is that your body has just released a flood of adrenaline. You just need to let the body burn itself off. What I mean by that is that your body will burn off all that excess adrenaline and you will come back to baseline on its own. Now, you and I both know that panic attacks are very physical, but one of the things I didn't realize is that one of the things that you also experience is that you would also experience a lot of racing thoughts. Thoughts like, what if I lose control? Oh my God, something bad is going to happen. Is this always going to be something I'm dealing with for the rest of my life? These thoughts are also an offset of a panic attack. Just like your heart palpitates a lot when you're experiencing a panic attack, your mind's going to start coming up with racing thoughts. It's all just a side effect of an adrenaline surge. It's just all an offset of anxiety. Recognize that your body is not going to be creating an adrenaline surge for the rest of your life. Adrenaline is finite. Your body can only make so much. And so once your body releases all of it, it's going to burn itself off. Don't think that you're going to be having a panic attack forever. That's why it's very important to understand the mechanics of panic attacks, because one of the biggest fears that people have when they're experiencing panic attacks is that I'm going to experience it forever. What if it lasts really long? The truth is panic attacks don't last very long. If you just let it pass on its own, your body only has a finite amount. Once it burns itself off, you naturally end up feeling better. And that leads me to the third tip, which is don't try to figure out why you're having a panic attack. When people are having a panic attack, they often start asking themselves, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Was it something that I ate? Did I do something wrong? Did I not get enough sleep? They try to figure out why. Now, I understand wanting to know why this is happening. The idea is that if you know why this is happening, well, then you know what to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Imagine if you knew why this was happening. The answer to avoidance doesn't work, right? That's what I mentioned in the first tip, which is don't leave. Because if you avoid, well, the panic just ends up generalizing to other similar situations. And even if you know whether you know why you had a panic attack or you don't, isn't the response still technically the same? See, once you download that blueprint that I mentioned at byebyepanic.com and understand more of the mechanics of panic attacks, you'll identify that what's happening is that your nervous system is very sensitive. The truth is that your nervous system doesn't want to be wrong, right? So if it's unsure if something is a threat or not, it's just going to assume it's a threat. Because what happens if there's a tiger coming at you and your nervous system doesn't respond? It says, oh no, that's just a gust of wind. There's no tiger behind that bush. Well, it just takes one time to be wrong. So your nervous system is almost focused on the precautionary side. Let's just make sure that there's nothing wrong. Let's just give them extra anxiety. Let's just give them extra adrenaline rushes because we just want to keep Shaan alive. It's just a safety mechanism. This is why it's important for you to understand that in order to reteach your nervous system, that's on you. If you start reacting in panic whenever you're feeling panic attacks, well, then you're just reinforcing that your nervous system was right, that there was a threat, that there was something to be scared of. Whenever you teach your nervous system, whenever you teach in the middle of a panic attack that, hey, no, everything is fine. I'm not going to leave. It's just an adrenaline rush. And I'm not going to try to figure out why this is happening. I'm just going to let it pass. The nervous system recalibrates on its own. Remember what I mentioned, that your nervous system wants to conserve energy. Your body wants to conserve energy. And because panic attacks are so energy intensive, that if it recognizing that it's doing these false alarms, it's going to slow down on its own. This is how panic attacks go away long term. This is why I don't deal with panic attacks. I used to have multiple panic attacks daily and now they went away. Well, the truth is I don't do anything anymore because it doesn't come anymore. My nervous system has recalibrated. It's come back to baseline before I fell into the cycle. But how did I get my nervous system to go back to baseline? Basically, these tips I told you. I understood the mechanics of panic attacks, why they happen. This helped me reduce the fear and recognizing that the worst case scenarios wasn't even possible. I labeled my panic attacks as adrenaline surges. I didn't leave. I kept living my life. If I had a panic attack, that was totally fine. I kept going and I didn't try to figure out why this was happening. The most I would say to myself is, oh, my nervous system is sensitized. As I focused on this, the panic attacks went away on their own. Sometimes when I was on the recovery journey, they would happen a little bit more frequently. Sometimes it would subside. but I wouldn't try to figure out why it was happening. I said, okay, well, my body just has some extra adrenaline. I just need to let it burn itself off. And I had to be able to trust my body and my mind. I had to begin trusting the fact that my body knows what's best. And what happened on its own is that if my body could say anything, it was like, hey, Shaan, thank you for letting us do our thing. Stop getting in the way. You're messing things up. Just let us do what we need to do to burn off this extra adrenaline. We have so much adrenaline in our body. We just need to burn it off because we're always so stressed. And if you can just let us burn it off, well, you can feel a lot better. So these are the 3 tips that I would recommend you implement today. Again, all of this is based on the fact that you've gotten everything ruled out by your doctors. Yeah. Don't use these videos or any other video as a way to self-diagnose yourself. If you want to know more about nervous system sensitization and why it's creating all these mysterious symptoms, check out the next video so that you know exactly why you're experiencing anxiety for no reason, even in situations where there is no anxiety. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.